Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time. DRC. Sam Healy. Oh, really? It's top 100 games.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello everybody.
Sam Healy, what's up, y'all?
And this is the second video in our top 100 games of all time. All right, well, before we get started, I want to rev Sam up a little. Because last time you were annoyed that Small World was my 101. And
Yes, that was not right.
okay, so I want to go a little bit farther. What do you think my 105 is?
If you say Blood Rage, I
not
might
Blood
just
Rage.
flip this table.
It's not Blood Rage.
It's gonna be a short video if he does it.
TI4?
It is. Again, I really like the game, but there's like hundreds of games I like.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah, there are 100 games I like.
I just want you to compare every game on this list to TI4
I actually rank them based on how good they are, not on how much I play them. That's not true either.
That's not true, probably. Yeah. No.
You were like the one who did like I played the games a billion times last week.
Well, I know I have some interesting picks in this top 10. I'm hoping. I don't know.
Why do you bring all?
Because it's easier.
90 now?
I can't peek at like the the 81. You know what I mean?
You know you can just go 1, 2,
These are too
3,
sticky for that.
4, 5. I'm using the same things that you're using.
Man, stop it with your logic.
Let's get started.
Number 90. My number 90 is the first tried and true tabletop miniatures game on my list. And the only reason really it's at 90 is because I haven't had that much experience with it, but I've had enough to where I know it's going to hit on my top 100. It could climb the more I play it, but this is called Dust 1947.
Really?
Now, yes. Wow. Yeah, it's by Paulo Parente's group.
That's also my 90.
And no, it's not. These
It's
liars.
on my list, but not yet.
The cool thing about this game is that, and they're not the only ones that do it, but they're one of the ones that I know the most about. And that is, they actually sell their models in 3 different ways. You can buy them on the sprue, unpainted, unbased, whatever, and then you go through that whole process. You can buy them already assembled and primered, which means that you put your color scheme and what all that kind of stuff on it, or you can buy them fully assembled and fully painted. Now, cheap, of course, right? No. That's the most expensive way to do it, so there is that. But as far as gameplay is concerned, this is one of the coolest tabletop miniature games that I've played because I mean, you can play it, I guess you could say, this epic style where you have hundreds of units on the board.
So I like
it best where you just have like one squad going against another squad, where it's a smaller board and it still kind of feels wide open. Feels like you have a way to move around the board and that type of thing. I really enjoy that. The miniatures are all very well done. I wouldn't say they're upper echelon, but they're above average. I'll definitely put it that way. And it's just a great system, and I really enjoy it. I'm hoping to get more use out of it. And it's my number 90, Dust 1947.
All right, my number 90 is a new one to the list. In fact, this game has not had a wide release. It was released at Essen last year from a smaller company, Draw Lab, and then this year I think Asmodee is picking it up fully, and that is When I Dream.
Ah, yes, yes.
I really love this party game. I mentioned a couple party games last time, but this one is really...
When I Dream, TI4 somewhere.
Now, you like When I Dream too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
it's a funny game.
It's a game in which you are... One person has their eyes closed and everyone else is giving them clues, one word clues, and they're trying to guess words, except some people are lying to you. And you can pretty much quickly figure out who's lying to you, so they have to not lie too obviously in the beginning. It's a really good back and forth game, and the artwork is phenomenal, even though it doesn't need artwork at all. But they kept that artwork for the new game, and there's more cards, and it has a little bed now. That's the card dispenser.
Really?
Yeah, it looks really cool. So, When I Dream, my number 90.
Interesting. My number 90 is Quadropolis.
Wow.
From Days of Wonder. And Quadropolis is a city building game, which I tend to really not like city building games. I don't know what it is. Just the ideas they usually go into.
City destruction.
Yeah, if I wreck it, I'm okay with that. I'll wreck it up, Ralph, but not the building it up part. I think it's just like, oh, you put a house next to a farm and that's good, and if the farm is next to a windmill, then that's also good, but not next to the nuclear plant, or that's bad. It's like, yes, I know, but I don't find all those things to be engaging. Quadropolis, with its simplicity, I think does it for me, and it's very beautiful as well. And I just really enjoy the quick turns in it. You know, you put out a token, you select a tile, you put it on your board, and very quickly you start realizing, oh, I'm running into trouble here with where I can put what and how it's going to score. And it's the condensing of all those ideas that you see in all those other games that does it for me. It's quick, it's visceral, you know. I like that about it, and it's very engaging. So my number 90, Quadropolis. Now, what were you saying? Wow, at 90 because it's
No, I like
or-
Quadropolis too, but I didn't know you liked it that much. Actually.
I do very much. It's a fun game.
Cool.
Number 89.
My number 89 has been on my list for very, very many years. It is the game that plays completely different than it sounds, and that's Dungeon Twister. Dungeon Twister is a game of
Blast from the past.
football. Yeah, it really is, right? I mean, this is a game that no one talks about now. A few years ago, they made Dungeon Twister the card game,
Wait,
which
a game
was
of football? You
Well-
gotta explain that.
what I mean is you have 4 people, you have 8 people, and you're trying to get to the other person's line. And football, I'm sorry, it's a sport game almost, where you're trying to get across to the other person's line, and you're also tackling each other along the way or whatever. Again, football was not a good term. Take
Kind
that out
of,
your
sort
head.
of. I mean, it's like,
But it is it's a team versus team game. You know, this wizard's putting you in this game, and he's like ha ha ha, and the levels are twisting, and there's almost no luck in the game. The only luck is
Right.
really the setup.
right.
And I really think we will see a 3rd edition of this at some point be printed. I think they're
think so?
waiting to let it fade out.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I've been getting the hints that I've heard. I think a 3rd edition is on
the
the way.
shinning.
He's Martha Stewarting it.
I'm Martha Stewart.
It's a good thing.
All right. What do you got for your 89?
All right, my 89 is Citadels.
Take that, Summer!
Really?
And this is specifically I wrote here, Citadel's the 2016 edition, which I thought was really a superb edition of the game. They did it. They knocked it out of the park with that one. In 2016, Fantasy Flight Games printed, I should say, 2 versions of Citadels. One they call Citadel's Classic, and it was the same as the original printing, almost, like the very, very first printing. And then they did a Citadel's 2016 edition, or whatever they're calling it, and that one has everything that's come out before and a bunch of new stuff, new characters, new cards, a beautifully produced box with great new artwork, all of this stuff. And this is a sort of master set of Citadels, and it shows. There's a lot there to combine. You can make the game a little more approachable for new players. They've streamlined it to be a little bit shorter, not a lot, but a little bit shorter. You have a bunch of new special cards that are going to kick up the interaction between players. You can now find, unless you abhor Citadels, you can kind of find the way to play that fits you best by mixing the right special cards and the right characters to draft from. And that's why I think it's still on the list. Again, it's 90s, right? Like or 89. It scrapes in. It might have dropped off if this new edition hadn't shown up this last year. But with it, I think there's now, it revitalized the whole thing for me, and that's why it's on the list now. So 89, Citadel's 2016 edition.
Yeah, I can't recall. I think Citadels may have dropped off of my list. I have not played that edition yet, so maybe that'll resurrect it, if indeed it has dropped off. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, Citadels. It's strange because I didn't think you liked that game hardly at all.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, because you always talk about how long it is and how.
With the upper echelon of players, it's really long.
Yeah, I don't think you should play with 8 or 7 players anyway.
Yeah.
All right, my number 89 is one of the first. Again, I can't even remember the last 10, but I think it's one of the first abstract strategy games of the list. And this
I wasn't
one
expecting
is
any.
cool. Oh, there's going to be more actually. There's a couple more in this one.
He's changed, man.
Who is this guy? There better be miniatures
There's
in
one
here.
more in this list, in
All
this
right.
segment. So,
Oh my goodness me.
So Vikingdoms is my number 89, and it's a game by, I think it's called Mind Fitness Games, and it's got a really interesting, again, just plain Jane
think I
abstract
played this
strategy. No, I don't think you have either. Just plain Jane abstract strategy doesn't really do it for me. There's got to be something else that's there. And with Vikingdoms, there is.
I wonder how many games on your top one have Vikings as their theme.
Well, the Vikings isn't the only thing that's there. As a matter of fact, that's like one of the last things.
It's in the name.
It is true, but I like the fact that there is this abstract strategy thing, but there's also this other kind of area control type of almost a set collection thing going on the side. That's where you're going to be scoring most of your points and where the game is actually going to end eventually. So I really enjoy the game. I do like the theme. I think it matches well with the pillaging aspect of what Vikings are I guess most known for. So it works well, and I liked it. It's simple. It's not hard to teach. And everything works great. It looks great on the board. That's another thing that I have to have for abstract strategy games. It has to look nice. It has to pop in some way, shape, or form.
That's all you gotta do is make it look good.
Those GIF series games that you guys love so much, those things just look so boring.
What? No,
they look
amazing.
no, they look boring because it's just like circles and stuff on the
They
board.
look like cookies.
Okay.
Delicious.
Again, they don't look good.
I'm going to
as
get a cookie
game.
right now.
Don't do it.
Anyway, I want my abstract strategies to look good and have something other than just abstract strategy
Like
there.
Vikings.
Yeah, sure, that works. That's good. But
like
you'll find very shortly that that's not the only thing that has to be there.
Pirate Kingdoms.
Anyway, that's my number 89, Vikingdoms by Mind Fitness Games.
Number 88.
All right, my 88 is The Pillars of the Earth.
Of the Earth.
Which should be out very soon, actually.
I know, you're right. So The Pillars of the Earth,
So stop telling us that we're talking about games you can't get, because you will be able to get this one soon.
I think we can, at this point, kind of call this a classic worker placement game.
I
It's
agree.
been out for quite a while. It's one that's held up very well while it's been in print. And it's also based on well-known literature. And from what I hear, I don't know the book. I've never read it. It also utilizes what's going on in the book in a fairly interesting way. But even if you've never read the book, which I never have, the game is a very engaging worker placement game with some really interesting mechanisms that, strangely, I don't think I've really seen stolen, or, well, let's say borrowed. And this idea of, there's sort of a two-parter, but the one thing I'm thinking of is that you are going to be taking actions on the board. Your pawn, or one of them, will be drawn randomly from a bag. If you get pulled early, great. You get to pick early. You also pay more money. And you can choose not to pay, or you might not be able to pay. You simply get sort of dropped off on the board, and we'll come back around to you. And this continues. The next player will be pulled, and they pay slightly less, and so on. And it's a great push and pull of, don't pull me quite yet. I need the price to drop by a couple bucks, and then I'll go all in. So sometimes you get pulled right away, and you're like, I have the money, but I still don't want to spend it. It's nothing I want that bad. I'll
Sometimes
wait.
you do want it that bad.
Sometimes you do want it that bad, and you're like, fine, I'll pay all 7 coins. I want, I love that. And so, yeah, Pillars of the Earth coming out, as Tom said, in a reprint soon. Definitely look into it. It's a really, really great design. That's my 88.
Okay, cool. My number 88, again, this is going to feel like not my list, but it is. My number 88 is a game that I played first at Gamma 2017, and I've played it a few times since then. So it's already kind of higher on the half-played list than a lot of other games that are out there. That is Century Spice Road.
No!
You're
No!
lying. You're kidding. No way.
That's not a joke.
That's a joke. That has to be a joke.
Again, it's at 88, all right? So it's not like it's...
No,
Top
for
50
me, my
material.
88's are like amazing. Well, no, that's great. I mean, I really like the game. You got to play the Golem version, though.
I do need to play the Golem version because, quite frankly, I'm bored with the theme of Century Spice Road. Golem Edition, however, It's a simple, streamlined game that I can play almost mindlessly. Almost mindlessly. You do have to think about what you're doing and how you're using the different cubes and all that good stuff. But I do like the artwork. I like how the game plays. It is very simple. I do like the fact that it has pretty much killed Splendor.
Which you didn't like.
No, I didn't like it. And again, I think another part of it is that I'm always a sucker for aesthetics. I'm always a sucker for components. You take something that Splendor did, this game does it better with better components and better artwork. I'm in.
I've been rendered speechless.
Which for him
Which is my,
is a large feat.
All right.
But anyway, Century Spice Road.
Large feet.
My number 88.
My number 88 is.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be surprised. I don't care what it is.
No, you probably won't. This was on my list last year, and it's actually moved up. It was 94 last year, and that is A Feast for Odin. This Uwe Rosenberg game is really, you know, each year he comes out with a game, and I'm like, yeah, we'll see. Because they all don't hit my top, even 400.
Okay,
you know?
right.
But this one really did it for me. I like the whole putting things in a grid, you know, that the tile thing. Patchwork is an interesting game, but Patchwork is just
Putting things in
putting
a grid.
things in a grid, and then there's a button economy, which I don't really like that much.
Button economy?
Economy.
Yes, a button economy. You
economy.
use and spend buttons in Patchwork. Have you played the game?
Yes.
Button
I just
economy.
wanted to hear you say it again.
Button economy. Button economy.
Goodness gracious.
Button economy.
So anyway,
No,
but
that's not it.
this game has also a huge worker placement game based around this, with 60 different places to place your workers. I love that. So many options and
Are
choices.
There really 60?
Are the workers
I
buttons?
count it, yes.
Wait, what? There's 60 places?
To put your workers.
Oh my goodness.
Ah,
I'm sorry,
now, it works
no.
best as a two-player game, probably,
No.
but 3, just like his other games, really, really enjoying this one still. A Feast for Odin.
Number 87.
Hey, all right, my 87 is...
He did it again.
I hit it. I don't want to see it, but actually I already know what it is. Never mind. My 87 is Shakespeare.
Or
Shakespeare, writing plays and whatnot. In the game, what you are doing is it's sort of a worker place. It's sort of like a worker activation game in which you are going to be rehearsing and putting on a play. And you are playing over like a week of rehearsal. You have a couple of dress rehearsals, which are going to be like scoring rounds, and then you're done. And you're hiring people. You're hiring actors. You're hiring builders. You're hiring people to sort of help you do things in the game. It's sort of it's a very thematic game, and I think you would agree with that. And it's a gorgeous looking game. The artwork is phenomenal. It really is some of the best artwork I've seen in any game. It's also fairly mechanical, though. It's a very thematic game, but there are a lot of mechanisms in it that you would just put this here, move the track, slide the thing, you know. So there's a lot of that. It's definitely a Euro game. But it is one that I've found surprisingly engaging, and not even because of the, you know, theater thing. It's a great theme, but it doesn't necessarily, you know, I wouldn't overlook a bad game because it's got a cool theater theme. But the game is so... They've been able to condense it down to just a few different actions, which, while feeling mechanical, really do come together in a very interesting, engaging way. You always feel like you're never doing enough, which I think is great. In most Euro games, you have that feeling of, I want to do 4 things, but I can do 2. The turns kind of, you know, clip along, and so before you're ready for the dress rehearsal, when you score, it's there, and you're like, oh, I didn't really, you know, I didn't move up enough on this one track. Now I'm going to have to slide down. All these things. It all comes together in a really, really great package. Definitely, I recommend it if you enjoy Euro games and if you enjoy the optimization in Euro games. Shakespeare is my 87.
My 87 is a Star Wars game. Which one?
Epic Duels.
No.
Is it Young Jedi? CCG.
Okay.
Oh my
We're going to stop this nonsense now. It's Armada.
New.
Armada is pretty much a miniatures game. It really is. But I really like Armada, and I'm really excited. You heard the latest expansion? Has the
Wave
Chimera and
7.
Thrawn.
Oh, really?
I'm going to get that ship.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What is the Thrawn?
Yeah. He's either trolling.
Isn't that like the light cycle people?
Thrawn.
Not Tron.
Oh, okay.
Stop it. All right. Anyway,
Control
this
test.
is a big, it lets you have a Star Destroyer in your game, which I'm really excited about. Star Destroyers versus Corellian Corvettes and cruisers, and also though you have X-wings and Y-wings and everything peppering around. It's a pretty good system where you have these big ships slowly moving around, and the little ships are just flying around them. I really like that. I like the kind of zoomed out. I like it better than X-wing. X-wing is an easier, quicker game. Well, it used to be, but I like the kind of pulling back and looking at the bigger battle fleets of it. I'm surprised they're still making ships for it,
Yeah.
but it's pretty cool. I mean, one day they're going to come out with the Executor. It's going to be like this big, man.
It's going to be bigger than that.
Then the Death Star.
Jeez. No, I don't
It's
think
going to
that's
happen.
I
Feel
don't think,
it.
I don't think.
Feel it.
I don't
Then the Sun Crusher. All right, go ahead. What's yours? 87.
All right, my number 87 is the second abstract strategy game in this segment.
What is
and
happening
it
right now?
is
Who are we with?
Santorini.
Hey, it's our first crossover.
Santorini.
You had Santorini last time.
Yeah.
It is a great. Again, it's abstract strategy, but it's got that pop, and you were talking about it in the last one where it's got this. It's almost feels like it's almost overproduced.
It is.
Setting on a pedestal, and the pieces just make a very picturesque setting at the end of the game. And I mean, even during the game, it's very picturesque. So it's really the miniatures can be painted if you want to do that. I know
That's
just
crazy talk.
some crazy people have done that, Vernon. But and he even painted the buildings stucco white. So he took white pieces and painted them white, which is, again,
That's a severe problem. We've talked to him.
every time
We've
I've
tried.
seen him, I say he has a sickness because he's always bringing up this newest. But he's very good at what he does, so let him have it. But anyway, back to the game.
my number 87,
Santorini
Vernon.
is number 87, and I really do enjoy. Again, it's just an abstract strategy game, but it's picturesque. I like the different levels, the 3D aspect of having it in abstraction. But I really do enjoy this game. It looks great. Roxley Games knocked this one out of the park. Number 87, Santorini.
Number 86.
All right, my number 86 is, I think, another crossover. I believe this was on Z's list last time.
What? I'm
And that
killing
is
it.
A cooperative game, Robinson Crusoe.
I did mention it, yes.
Yes. Now,
Robinson
Crusoe is a fantastic game. And don't forget, games in my 80s are amazing games. I love them. But I think Robinson Crusoe could be in my 40s or 30s if it just wasn't so hard to get to the table, right?
Yes.
I have to either play with people who've played it before, in which case we only need to read the rules twice.
Yes.
Or you play with new people, in which case they're like, oh, here we go. Because it is a tough nut to get into, and every time I play it, I have to look it up again. However, the thematic experience of it is amazing. It really brings that you are stranded on an island. All kinds of weird events are going to happen to you. It's very adventurous. It's really great. I played a cooperative game just yesterday, and when we were done, we were like, okay, that's fine, but it felt very mechanical, the whole thing. Robinson Crusoe never feels mechanical. Yeah. It feels like the stuff makes sense, what's happening. And I like it. It's just a tough one to get to the table, otherwise it'd be higher. But as it is, still enjoy it. Robinson Crusoe, my 86.
Okay.
Yep.
My number 86 is another Euro game, and it is strange. Believe me, the Ameritrash is coming, okay? It's just higher up on my list.
I don't know.
But this one is a game that I've only played a couple of times, I think. No.
You can't. You're no longer allowed to do that whole no.
Because we
just saw Century Spice
Yes,
Road,
and
a.k.a. the
killed.
Cubes of Doom.
It killed Splendor. So why would Splendor be higher?
No, I understand how logic works.
Okay,
but
then shut up. Anyway.
there he is, Sammy.
All right, so my number 86 is a game that's put out by Stronghold Games, and it hit the market hard
Crazy
this
Ingredients
year.
of Dr. Gloom. I don't know anymore, man. Nothing makes sense.
Terraforming Mars is on my list. What? I don't understand why. Can I not like what I like?
No, you can't. It's just that
What in the world?
I never said you like say.
That's like me suddenly, I like this game and it's 90 minutes. The world would implode. I'm not allowed.
Yes, you are.
No,
you can do
sir.
whatevs you want, man.
I am,
You're a pigeonhole. Okay, but why do you like Terraforming Mars?
I like Terraforming Mars because it is strangely thematic.
Yes,
And
agree on that.
I do like the different things you go. Now, one of the things that I really don't enjoy is how you can kind of get stuck in the cards that you can get, the cards that you're able to pick up. And other people can get ahead of you really fast. And the feeling that it gives you, at least with me, is that you feel behind most of the game. And I don't like games that make you
Since
feel
I'm
that
winning,
way.
I don't ever feel that. So
Right.
that's-
Wow. And he's modest too, folks.
Yeah, because I win so often.
But the idea behind
You've beaten me
Terraforming
every
Mars, I
time.
like the fact that it's a fresh theme. Well, it was when it came out, I guess. I mean, it came out with like
There's
four or
several
five
other Mars
four
games,
or five
yes.
other Mars
Yes.
games this year.
Kinda
but,
happened, yeah.
But before that, before that group of games came out, this isn't one that you really heard a whole lot of games using as a theme, and I really did enjoy it. I think that it deserves to be on my list because I did enjoy it. I liked everything about it. But again, it's probably it's as far as I really want to go down the Eurogame trail. I don't want to go very much further past this. But I mean, again, it's 86. It's really high on the list, really low on the list rather. But number 86, Terraforming Mars, Stronghold.
My number 86 is Alhambra. An oldie but a goodie for
Ah, I
me.
thought that'd be higher on your list, actually.
I've cooled on it. It's been on my, I haven't been making a top 100 list in, as long as you have, but it's been on there for a long time because I've had Alhambra for a long time. And I've enjoyed it for a long time. It's for quite a while was sort of my gateway game of choice, if you would. I think it's a game that it's really easy to bring to the table because a lot of people are going to be familiar with managing money from classic games. And in this one, that's a great way in. It's like, hey, you grab money, you spend money. Okay, people get that. And then you just building little square buildings and, getting a nice little city built is also very appealing. It sort of taps into that SimCity part of our brain that people generally enjoy. Humans, for the most part, like to sort of organize things and looking at it and go, look, I made this. I'm proud of this.
Right.
And I think this one really does that very well. The gameplay is quite simple. What's going on in it is very straightforward. The comparing what I'm doing to what someone else is doing and scoring, very simple. But overall, I find the game to have a really nice rhythm to it. It's very simple, and it's very engaging, and really a great choice for a new sort of, for a stepping stone or, a starting place to possibly something more thematic, let's say. So, that is my 86 Alhambra. Really
It
enjoy
also
that
comes
game.
with 20 mini expansions.
Well, if you get the big box, which I don't have, but yeah.
Number 85.
Come on, I need to have some dice. I need to have some
Yeah.
some killing.
Nope.
What is happening? Is it an abstract game?
No, it is not.
Is it a Euro game?
It is not.
Okay, then go ahead. Is it a party game?
Well, I guess
Because then we would have to leave.
it's actually kind of a party Euro-ish game. So
Is
it's
it
kind of
Yahtzee?
between. No, it's a team game where you have one team sitting across the table and there's a huge divider in between. On the other side of the table from another team, it's
Sapt and Kona.
I believe it's Madigo. I think puts
Dice,
it out.
Space Cadets Dice Duel.
No. Captain Sonar is my number 85. And the reason that this hit my list is simply because of its novelty, so to speak. Because you have a team of, 4 or 5 against
at most, I
another
think.
team of 4. And each person has their own station that they're doing, and it's a submarine combat. You are trying, one person is the captain, and he's the one that's giving all the orders. Another person is the radar guy, or the sonar guy, sorry. And he's the one
radar guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, boss.
Wow, radar man from Matt. He's pretty cool. But and somebody is the logistics person. Somebody is the weapons guy, and it's just a really fun experience, and it's also a thematic experience.
It
I
is.
mean, of course, actually being inside a submarine during war would be vastly different from this. So but it's still a thematic game.
Right.
It's not realistic, but it's a very thematic game, and that's what has really drawn me to it. Every time I've played this, I've had a lot of fun playing it. It really brings in the team aspect of you have to work together, you have to communicate, you have to do all of these things together as a team, and you really have to work like that well-oiled machine. As long as you do that, you have a great chance at winning.
Right.
It's when you start breaking down your communication and people start being quiet and trying to grok their own little thing, that's when you start to actually do poorly. And I really enjoy that about the game. I really do. And I had a lot of fun playing it, so it's my number 85, Captain Sonar.
All right, my 85 is quite likely the newest game on the list. It's a game I have played with everybody in the room, actually, including a man over there who is not on camera. And this is Rising 5.
Wow.
Oh, okay, cool.
You just made this list.
I did, and I modified it after I made it, actually. This I added on afterwards.
Knock the game off. Poor old 101.
Yeah, 101 was Small World.
Jerks.
So Rising 5 is a cooperative game. I tend to very much enjoy cooperative games. I like them to be attractive, colorful. I like them to be have a lot of depth, but be very simple to play and puzzling. Those are sort of like the the boxes I check off whenever I'm looking for a good co-op. Things like Pandemic, which I very much enjoy, Ghost Stories. They all sort of tend to do this stuff. The ones that are too heavy, that are too complicated, like Robinson, then sort of tend to get pushed off a little bit. And Rising 5 is new. It's at this point because it's very new to me. I have explored it a few times now. I've played Solitaire. I've played with you guys several times. And so I'm not sure if it's going to rise eventually or not, but man, am I enjoying it.
If it goes up by 5 levels, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty
Every
awesome.
year?
Rising 5 every year. Oof, math, baby. The game has a co-op mixed with a little puzzly solving sort of mastermind thing going on, assisted by an app on your phone or whatever, and I really, really enjoy that. Anyway, I could go on about this game, but I think it's a great co-op game, very attractive, really fun. Rising 5 is my 85.
It's inconvenient. All right. Oh, is that me?
Yes.
85, you're right. My 85 is also on Z's list. Through the Ages.
Nope. It will
No.
be ages before this thing makes it to you.
I really like
The
Civilization.
thousands.
I really like the computer game Civilization, and I think still Through the Ages kind of does that best. I like it best with 2 players. It is a longer game. When you play with 3 or 4, it's going to be 3 or 4 hours. With 2 players, it's still 2.5 hours, maybe 3.
It's an hour per player.
Ish.
That's
it's a little
crazy.
faster. Nah, but
What if
it's
you play
really
with 16
fun.
people?
No, it's max of 4, dude.
Oh.
But I like it because you get these cards, and there's every time you play, the array of cards that are out there is going to be different, and you're sitting there going, okay, do I want to build my city, my civilization up with this? Do I want to build temples? Do I want to work on my military? And even though it's all cards, which doesn't sound like it would be as good as the bigger ones with pieces, it just really works well. And they just came out last year with the 2nd edition of it, and it's really good. You didn't like it?
Well, I mean, if I'm going to play an hour per player, I might as well do something that's worth playing an hour per
Like
player.
what?
Like TI4 maybe, your 105?
308s is 20 spots higher.
For no real reason. Just
He likes
because
it better,
he
I
wanted to.
think. I think he likes it better.
He might.
Let's move on.
Number 84.
All right, my number 84 is a game from Days of Wonder. It just came out this year, and it hit
Wow.
almost kind of almost been a lackluster appearance on the market. It didn't really.
Which one came out this year?
Yamatai.
No way.
Yamatai.
No way that's on your list.
He stole.
Oh my
What is
goodness!
happening?
What is wrong with you people?
What is wrong with you,
Why
sir?
can't
you
I
used
choose
to be
the games
a
I want
murderer
on
of
my
games.
top 100?
You used to slap plastic about the face, and now you push wooden cubes along like a... I'm done. Go ahead.
Again, this is Days of Wonder used to be one of my favorite companies. They
Okay.
came out with so many different games, and then they kind of hit a lull for me, at least. I wasn't so hot on the
Five Tribes.
Well, yeah, but
Quadruplets.
Relic Hunters,
Relic Runners.
Relic Runners. I'm sorry, I wasn't so hot on that one. Wasn't so hot on 5 Tribes. Wasn't so hot on some of these other ones. But I mean, they really for a while there. I mean, Memoir 44, Battle Lore when they had it. A lot of those games when they were coming out, this was a game Cleopatra Society of Architects. These were games that I was really looking for, and they look good on the shelf, they look good on the table, everything. With Yamatai, I feel like they've come back. They've kind of come back to where I am and what I'm wanting from a game like that. I mean, sure, yeah, a lot of the components are wooden pieces, but they look really good.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're beautifully produced.
The art is also
the
stunning.
artwork is amazingly well done. The gameplay is somewhat puzzly and mechanical, but I'm able to look past some of that because of how much the board pops and how much the game pops and how interesting the game looks. And so, I mean, again, we're still in the 80s, so it's not like I'm, you know, completely off my rocker putting this game on my list. It's a greatly produced game, and it's a well-designed game. And I think those two things together, it's fun to play. Why can't I put it on my list? It's number 84, Yamatai. So y'all shut up.
They're probably
Not
doing
y'all,
good.
you two.
All right, my number 84 is brand new to the list. Actually, this has gone up since we did our initial review. It just keeps getting higher and higher. This is, I don't have to look at my list. I think it's my highest rated racing game. And it actually came out like 20 years ago or whatever.
Wow.
With Restoration Games, and that's Downforce.
Wow.
Really loving Downforce. And I saw the new track the other day. It looks really cool.
So did I.
Maybe I saw the new track. But anyway, the game is simple. I like games where you bet on racing. You know, horse racing games have that a lot. And then where you're just moving the cars. It's fast. It's definitely mean and nasty. You're blocking other cars on purpose. It has really replaced Ave Caesar, which used to be on my top 100 list all the time. And I think I'd rather just play Downforce. It's quicker, simple, easy. Everyone gets involved, and then I mean, I do miss making people stand up and shout Ave Caesar and throw their coin in the box.
You still do that, yeah.
And Downforce?
They should probably shout something different. but-
Mario Andretti!
Yeah, there you go.
Ave Andretti.
Anyway,
Why not?
fantastic game. This game has really been blowing up. I'm not the only one who's loving this game. I mean, I really see it being played a lot. Really like Downforce.
All right, my 84 is a card game that really came along to surprise me, Beastie Bar. And
Which is completely different than it sounds.
Beastie Bar is basically it's just a card manipulation game in which you are lining up cards trying to get your critters, your like anthropomorphic animals, to go into a bar. And once you fill up a line, the first two get in the bar. The line at the end of the line gets sort of kicked to the curb. And you are just playing cards to manipulate that line. And every single player has the same deck of cards, and every one card in there has a power. They do something. They affect the line somehow. And just from the very first time I played it, I was like, this is sort of like what's the game? Guillotine? Is that the one where you line up the characters?
Yeah,
it blows that game away for me. I was never a huge fan of that game anyway. But
Wow,
this
I didn't even think about it. Yeah, they are very similar.
This is that game, just made.
With a more palatable theme,
Yeah,
too.
well, there's that, a nice, kind of funky artwork, a nice theme, but just the powers on the cards, the manipulation it allows you to do, it's really, really interesting. So it's one of those sort of fillers for me that I think I expect to be an evergreen. It's going to be one of those that if I'm playing with some people and they're not quite sure what to play, they maybe are not, they play some card games, but they haven't explored too many different games, then I might bring that one out and teach it. I think it's got that appeal. So that is my 84 Beastie Bar, and it has a sequel out that you can even combine.
Well, which one would you pick first? If someone was going to go buy it, should they buy Beastie Bar or Beastie Bar 2?
The first one is simpler powers, so yeah,
right.
the first one.
Number 83.
My number 83 is a new version of an old game by Richard Borg, and that is Thunder and Lightning, which was originally Hera and Zeus, but Thunder and Lightning is such an amazing two-player game. It is essentially Stratego, the card game. But more than that, because you are hiding this one card from the other person, and they're going to you're putting cards down and you attack each other, and if you kill that one card, you win. So I'll keep the card in my hand, but I have cards that can go into your hand and pull them out. And it's almost asymmetric. I mean, it's almost symmetrical, the game. I think there's some slight differences now.
Very slight.
I think it's
maybe.
largely symmetrical.
Yeah, it's
It
largely
is.
symmetrical. I think they're, well, at least they look different. The artwork and all.
But generally, Loki's deck has the same cards in it.
I think it's all. I couldn't
as
tell you.
Thor's deck.
Yeah, but either way, and the artwork is stunning.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The size of the cards are really good. The only
Plus,
problem,
it now has text on the cards. That's
right.
crazy sauce, man.
yeah, the original one, you had to keep
Aaron
looking at it to
Zeus
see.
had like just an artwork.
Yeah.
There's just
Yeah.
a number, and you're like, what's this dude do? It's like every card you have
Right.
to check.
They also added new cards, and the only minor negative is the cards are so big now that you need a pretty good sized table to play it on
you do.
for a
Yeah.
card game. But I don't care. Great, great game, Thunder and Lightning.
Good choice.
That's me. Yes.
Thunder and Lightning. Come on, come on, come on.
Thunder and Lightning, Thunder and Lightning. No! My 83 is Vegas Showdown.
Vegas Showdown.
Vegas Showdown is a casino building. I guess you're building casinos, right? Casino
Yes.
building tile placement auction game, which came out from Avalon Hill, actually. Well, the new and improved Avalon Hill after they sort of got bought up by Hasbro. But the game is, it's one of those games that you wouldn't think it'd be a good game from sort of looking at it. You know, it's one of those that you're
Well, the
expecting.
lackluster components don't help.
And you're looking at it and you're going, this looks like a
And then-
mass market
but those
thing.
reprint components,
Oof, much better paper.
let me tell you.
But the game is really very, very engaging and appealing. And I played this one actually the most with, this is the game I played the most with my parents, which is very funny because you wouldn't think it.
Wow, really?
Yeah, but it's just the bidding is very straightforward, really, and then I think they like the, you know, the Tetris-y sort of putting out tiles and being like, oh, I can walk in here now and go over here. It's like, oh, look at this restaurant I've made, you know, and that sort of thing. And then there's some special cards you flip over and they tell you what's going on, but that's easy to deal with also. It's just a one-time effect at the beginning of each round. The whole thing really is very, very engaging for me, and I enjoy the theme, though it really could have been building anywhere. It's not Vegas-y, so if that's a concern for you, like the gambling and the sort of the nightlife in Vegas, this game does not really bring that into play. It's just set somewhere. They could have moved somewhere else if they wanted to in
More
the
like a
reprint.
construction game than it is.
Yeah,
an
it's a
actual
construction game. It just happens to be what you're building is a building, a casino.
Right.
But yeah, I enjoy it very much. So my number 83 is Vegas Showdown.
Come on, you're 83. Better be some jet plane thing.
Sound of Freedom, baby. Actually, it isn't. This is a party game, and it's
I'm sorry,
where
I can't handle any more of this.
where we are asking questions, trying to figure out who knows where we are and who is the spy who has no clue where we are. This is number 83, Spyfall, and this is just a fun game that you can play 10 times in one sitting, because it really doesn't take that long. Now, 10 times in one sitting might be a little bit much, but
No, we've definitely done it that many times.
but
Probably.
we've played it a lot in one sitting. I don't know if 10. That would be 80 minutes. That would be over an hour of playing.
yeah,
I don't
because you
think
can
we've
call
ever-
it out early. You can
Yeah,
say, all
yeah.
right, we're voting
But-
on so-and-so.
Spyfall is just a very simple, easy to teach, easy to learn, hard to master somewhat, because you have to know that line that you have to walk between giving a question or an answer that is too revealing, so that the spy can easily figure out where everybody else is. You have to walk that line between being too much or being too little, and then everybody else thinks that, well, you're the spy because your answers are vague or your questions are too vague or what have you. So I really do enjoy the game, and it's one of those, as you were mentioning earlier, evergreen type games where I think I can pull it out with a large swath of a cross section of humanity, and it play well with all of them. And so that's why it made my list, because of its diversity, because of its ease, because of its simplicity, but it's also very fun. So that's my number 83, Spyfall.
Cool.
Thanks.
Number 82.
All right, here we go. My number 82 is... Oh, it's upside down. Snowtails.
2.
Snowtails.
No, it's just the first
This is
Snowtails.
Snowtails 2. Is it even called Snowtails 2? Is that what they call
No,
it?
this was Snowtails 3 that you're thinking of. There was Snowtails and Snowtails 2, and then Renegade made Snowtails, which was mostly just the first Snowtails.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
was
then-
pretty much just that. Actually,
they're
you
gonna
know
come
what?
out
I've
with
never
no more
played.
Tails.
I don't. I don't think I've played the Renegade one. I still have my original Asmodee printing
You
of
played
it.
the Renegade one.
I don't think so. I have the Asmodee, and they came out with the what are their names? The designers, the Fragor Brothers, is
Yes,
that right?
right.
So they had theirs.
Well, they're the Lamont brothers.
Oh, the Lamont.
Fraser and Gordon, and they put their names together to make the name Fragor.
Right. So they had their printing, then Asmodee, and now Renegade. But I have the Asmodee one at home, and I really enjoy the game. I think it's one of my favorite. Well, it is one of my favorite racing games because it is straightforward in its implications. Race well, don't go so fast around the corner. You crash, try to make it to the end first. Like the implications are make sense. The manipulation of your craft is really clever, and the idea of manipulating three things: the brake on your sled, and then the dogs, and how much they're pulling on one side versus the other, causing drift. That's brilliant. I mean, the first time I heard that, I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is fantastic!" Just the idea that you can manipulate that. It's almost like thinking of it in a frictionless world, sort of. It's just so great. So yeah, Snowtails for me really holds up. I played it. I want to say last year was the last time I played it. It's been a while since I played it, but it still feels as fresh as ever when it hits the table for me. So Snowtails 82.
All right, my number 82 is, I believe, going to be our first triple crossover.
What?
Because
What have we already
this
said?
will be on your list.
Oh.
This will be on your list. So this is, I'm preempting you
Got it.
on our triple crossover.
Got
'Cause
it.
It's already been on his list last segment.
Pandemic
It's on
Legacy?
my list on this one. It's probably going to be on your list on the last segment that we do.
No, I don't know about
That is Pandemic.
I don't think so.
Oh, the straight Pandemic?
Well, no. See, that's the thing. I'm talking about the game system. I'm not nailing it down to one specific one. If I had one that I would probably never purchase, it would be Reign of Cthulhu. I really liked the one in Spain. What was that one called?
The Reign in Spain.
No,
It falls
was not the Reign
mainly
in Spain.
on the plane.
Iberia.
Iberia. Thank you. See, I had it right, just the wrong name. See, Pandemic Spain or Iberia.
How about Pandemic Rising? Was it Rising Tides? The new
Well,
one?
yeah, that's
Rising
coming
Tide.
out. I haven't played that one yet, but I do enjoy
That's my
the
number 6.
system of play. So I think my favorite, the way that I've enjoyed the game system the most is with Legacy, the Legacy aspect,
yeah,
because
amazing.
it just adds so much thematic flair to a very good game system to begin with. So I do enjoy it a lot. It's one of those games that has, although I don't pull it off the shelf very often, I don't feel like I'm ever going to get rid of it because
Okay.
it has that staying power. I know that it ages well, I guess you could say.
Some more regular Pandemic now?
Yes. Yeah, regular Pandemic. Although I do, my like I said, my favorite way to play it is with Legacy. Chomping at the bit for season 2. It cannot,
I guess I'll-
you shut up. It cannot get here soon enough. But that's my number 82, Pandemic. I'm sure we'll hear more about that game later on.
My number 82 is also on Sam's list eventually. It's been on my top 100 list since the game has come out. It was actually in my top 10 for a long time.
What?
It's dropped down because I just don't play it as much anymore, but I still think it's a fantastic game, especially when you use a pre-printed battle mat, and that is Memoir 44.
Yeah.
Memoir 44, great 2-player, amazing 8-player game. In fact, we
Yeah.
played it this year, Overlord, didn't we, at
Yes,
the
we did.
Live Marathon?
Live Marathon, that's correct.
We started one out with an Overlord
January.
game. Yeah, that was just such a good system. And even the 2-player game, every time I see it, I'm like, man, just plays so well.
Yep.
There's a lot of great games in this system, the Command and Colors system, but Memoir still has, it's
Coming
just
out with
so
the
easy.
Revolutionary War soon.
But what I like about Memoir is there's 3 units, possibly a couple extra odd units on the board, possibly. And then you roll the dice. It's not hard to figure out. You can teach that game so quickly, and yet it feels like you're playing a pretty good war game. It's not, you don't feel like the whole thing was just luck.
Right.
So that's my 82, Memoir 44.
Cool.
Number 81.
My number 81, the last one of this segment, is a 2-player game set in the Cold War era, and that is Twilight Struggle.
Oh, okay.
Twilight Struggle is, I love it for its educational value because it takes you through that era in a, not overbearing way, but you learn a lot as you play the game. You learn the struggles between the two sides and how within each side there was a lot of struggle that was going on as well. So I really enjoyed that. I do wish that it was a little bit more aesthetically pleasing because it just looks like a political map on the board. I do like, however, the historical feel that all of the different
the updated
cards
version
have.
looked a little better.
Yeah, I guess so. But again, not as much as I would have liked to have seen. But I still do really enjoy the game. Last time I played it's been a while now, probably about a year and a half or something to that effect. But I still enjoy it every time it hits the table, and it really has a great tension between the two sides. And of course, Cold War era, that's what it's going to have. But it captured that very well. There's a lot of things you have to keep track of, but you just have to pretty much use the cards in your hand as best as you possibly can and do the best you can. So I really enjoy it a lot. Great card-driven historical game, Twilight Struggle, my number 81.
My number 81 is 2 games, same game, different names.
Whoa.
No, they're the same game. And that's Battle Line or Schotten Totten. They are pretty much the exact same game, especially Battle Line had some extra tactics cards in, and then the new version of Schotten Totten added those in. So
Yes.
you can play with or without them. It's a 2-player game that, as time has gone by, has beaten out Lost Cities for me. I do like Lost Cities. I like it. But Battle Line, I think, is better. You're making little poker hands on your side. 3 cards. You want 3 of the same or straight or what have you.
Wait. So, Battle Line Schotten Totten's on your list here, and you said it beat out Lost Cities.
Yeah.
So Lost Cities isn't on your list anymore?
Well, it's still in the top 250.
Lost Cities is gone, baby!
What would you say if I told you it was 104 right above TI4?
I would hit you in the mouth.
Don't say it. Don't tell it.
I'm scared now.
Don't hit him in the mouth. What is that? Why are you shining your... Oh, it's like an apple. You're going to eat it.
He's going
He's going to eat it, I know.
Oh my.
All right, who
Oh my.
cares? All right, I'm doing mine, man.
I care. You shut up.
My 81, I'm going to guess. I don't know what it is. It's a game that could play 3 or 4 people.
208.
That's right. It's not
208 is still really
TI4.
good.
That's right. It not only fell off the top 100, it fell off the 200. That's right. You gone, Lost Cities. Bye-bye.
So angry.
But
No, I'm happy.
Battle
That's
Line
my happy
Schotten Totten
face.
is a
This is
great,
you happy?
great.
That's happy.
That's terrifying.
What's yours?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Okay, well tell us.
I'm guessing, like I said, I'm going to say it's a pretty game.
It's probably a card game.
It's probably a card. This is a pretty card game that plays 2 through 4 people.
Shut up! Shut up!
What was that?
Are we going to get YouTube flagged for that, or can I keep going?
Keep going.
Card game, pretty, 2 to 4 players.
I'm right so far. It has a... I'll forget it. It's Caveman: The Quest for Fire.
What?
Caveman: The Quest for Fire is one of those games that unfortunately it seems
Nobody
no one
else
has played.
heard about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a game that came out from Rio Grande Games.
Uh-huh.
It's a game in which you are
A caveman.
cavemen, right? You are gathering
for
your
fire.
group of cave people, and you are attacking monsters for food. It's an economic game. You are tracking monsters for food. You are spending resources to gather cards, and eventually, you're basically building up your faction. And eventually, a card shows up that you're attempting to acquire. Usually, the first time that card shows up, you won't be able to acquire it. It gets shuffled back in the deck, and it'll show up again. And at some point, one of the players will be able to make fire. And that's when the game's over and you win. But the game, for being just a deck of cards, has a ton going on in it, really. It's not a complex game, but there is quite a bit. You see, your people are sometimes good hunters, or they're good gatherers, or they're good at building, and sometimes you'll want to gather food from attacking. Sometimes you don't want to do that because your people might die after you attack a monster. They might go away. The whole thing is really an engaging card game that for some reason completely got overlooked. Part of that might be because it's got a really weird look to it. The game, have you seen this game? You know what I'm talking
I
about?
think I have. I don't think it just looks like a bad game.
It does look like a bad game because the artwork is clay stills. Like, they made people and monsters and stuff out of clay, like claymation, and then it's a still picture of that. So it's got a really acquired taste
My
kind of
favorite
look to
kind
it.
of artwork.
It's like really bizarre. I like it. I find it charming. I get it if you don't like it. It's a weird look. but I really enjoy the game. It's definitely one of those games that I think you would enjoy if you gave it the chance.
Is it like the cartoon claymation, or is it just like a piece of clay?
It's cartoon
It's
claymation.
colored?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you. You'll love
Hung
it.
up on the cover here.
You'll love it.
All right, well, we'll have to check
That's
that
81.
one out. I've actually.
Caveman: The Quest for Fire.
I'm lying. I'm never going to check that out.
I'll bring it in and show it to you, fellas.
Alrighty. Well, hey, folks, we are now 1/5 of the way done. The games only get better
true.
here on out.
I hope
Love
so.
Fresh.
Hope you enjoyed the green background. Let's hope it's here next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm
Right.
Z Garcia, and now I'm sad. Goodbye.
And I am Sam Healy. Adios, muchachos.
Some say that Tom is like a giant among men. Others say he's a little obsessed.
I don't even have a top 10.
Tom Vassell's top 100 games of all time.
Z's got flavor in his top 100 games. Z Garcia, voice of the people. Z Garcia, voice of the people.